bizarre incident over Yellowstone. What is going on? This is coming in from Kat Martin. She's got a YouTube channel. Take a look at this. Kate says this happened 21st, 2018, and she hesitated to post this because she's not exactly sure what exactly happened. But she sat on it and she looked for some news, and she hasn't found a thing in regards to this incident. So she decided to go ahead and post this. We're going to supply the original link. Now let's get a closer look at this video, do some analysis of it, and see what we could find here. So it looks like paramedics are approaching somebody on the side of the road laying in the ice. It's really weird. We're doing a close-up on this pause frame, and it almost looks like this guy has no arm. It's very strange indeed. As the camera pulls to the left, we notice some kind of writing. I do a horizontal flip and we can make it out. It says, I think, Canon Zoom. Is this some kind of watermark that the park rangers use on their camera that surveys the area? Some people are saying there's a UFO hovering in the sky above the incident. As we're looking at it, it does seem to correspond with the paramedic vehicle below. The ambulance is reflecting and creating this kind of flare. Yellowstone is very active. Some people say it's right around the corner, that it might do something big. Yellowstone could be a global devastator. But as we look at this video, you notice a strange light. And then it drifts out of view. What was that? But immediately there, something is in pursuit of it. Some people are saying this is a park ranger helicopter in response to the incident. Whatever it is, we're not exactly sure. We're going to leave it for you to decide. Take a look. Now it's out of view. There is no more indication of exactly where this helicopter went, but it does seem to have gone in the direction of the UFO. Alright, we're going to let it roll here a little bit. See if you see anything strange in the sky or on the ground. Definitely a strange incident, and we're still trying to figure out what exactly happened. Why did the paramedics show up? We don't know exactly what happened, but there has been an incident, and we're trying to figure out exactly what's going on. And I want to get your guys' opinions of what do you think it is. Alright, we got more videos coming up. We're going to let it roll and then do a little enhancement again so you can take a look at the UFO activity. Is there a helicopter in pursuit of this during this incident in Yellowstone? Blake Cousins, third phase move. Stand by, everybody.
Hey, what is up, guys? Tyler here with Secure Team. Well, something major has just occurred and is still occurring underneath Yellowstone National Park. Now, before we get into this, I just want to reiterate here that this is not a fear-mongering video. I'm not a fear-monger. However, when I learned of this information, and it's in the mainstream news, and the fact that we just did the interview with Mr. Paulides about all of the strange things happening in our national parks, I wanted to get your guys' take on it and whether there's something deeper going on here. So if you haven't heard the news, over the past week, there has been a major swarm of earthquakes in Yellowstone. In fact, in just a 24-hour period, there were 72 earthquakes in a small localized area. And at this time, researchers are monitoring the volatile zone and have no idea when the current earthquake swarm is going to end. Now, while most of the earthquakes were smaller, there were a few towards the end that started spiking up to magnitudes of around 5.0, which is getting up there. And for any of you who haven't read up on Yellowstone, well, in a nutshell, there is a massive supervolcano underneath it that is long overdue for an eruption that, by the way, is capable of wiping out the vast amount of human, animal, and plant life in the continental United States. And experts are legitimately worried about when this eruption is going to occur. And so scientists currently believe that there's a, quote, 10% chance that a supervolcanic Category 7 eruption could take place in this century, which was even pointed out by theoretical physicist Michio Kaku, who recently stated that the danger we are now facing with the caldera is that it's long overdue for an eruption, which would, quote, rip the guts out of the USA. And we've also found out that the pocket of lava located under the park has turned out to be twice as big as scientists originally thought. And so most scientists today concur that the last eruption of the caldera took place some 640,000 years ago. And the United States is currently under contract with at least 4 countries, all of which have agreed to house displaced U.S. citizens in the unfortunate event that the Yellowstone supervolcano were to erupt. And so with this recent earthquake swarm, well, before it happened, there was sort of a calm before the storm, where seismic activity experienced a downtick and was eerily quiet. And then just a day later, boom, 72 earthquakes within a 24-hour period. They've continued all week, and of course, it's got some people worried, and so we're starting to see news reports about it. Now, of course, most scientists out there are telling us, hey, there's nothing to worry about. There are thousands of earthquakes that occur in Yellowstone every single year, but others, of course, are a little bit more skeptical, with most people highly doubting that if there were such a danger, they would likely much rather not tell us and risk starting widespread panic across the entire country. And, you know, Yellowstone has been shrouded in a strangeness and a mystique of its own. A lot of strange things happen there, and we're talking disappearances, UFO sightings, strange lights, and there's a ton of theories about just what is going on in Yellowstone National Park, particularly the areas that humans are not allowed to go. And we are talking about areas that are more than just roped off from the public, but are heavily guarded by the military in order to ensure nobody enters, almost like they're guarding something. Well, many would say not almost, they are. They're guarding something in there. And of course, there have been talks for years now that there is some sort of highly secret government installation that was built or is continually being built underground in the center of Yellowstone. Now, many people have theorized that a lot of these earthquakes aren't actually coming from this supervolcano and the tectonic plates shifting, but instead are the remnants of massive drills and machinery that are being used underground to dig these massive tunnels and the hollowing out these massive caverns in order for them to install these deep underground bases. And, that was one of the things that me and Mr. Polides were talking about in the interview, which, by the way, awesome guy. Was so happy to have him on. He's just, he's the type of guy you want to sit down and have a beer with and just chat for hours. He's very good. And I looked at that interview not so much as an interview, but more as an intelligent conversation between two people. Mr. Polides was very courteous and, wanted to get my take on certain things as opposed to just having me ask questions. And I think that definitely made for a much richer interview. And we were talking about some of the things that could be going on in these national parks. Why are all of these people disappearing every single year? Now, of course, Mr. Polides kind of likes to sit back and not speculate, and would rather have us give our ideas. And, like I said in that video, in a lot of these cases, it almost appears as if many of these people are getting caught up in some sort of portal. It's been said it's like they walk into a portal and then they either disappear and are never seen again, or they reappear. Seeing is a map that hit the web years ago, which was leaked, and it purports to show a system of underground bases, military bases, secret bases that shouldn't exist, that are actually linked together by a high-speed rail system. So like an underground subway system, so the people who are living and or working at these installations can hop on one of these underground subway systems and within minutes travel hundreds or thousands of miles to these interconnected bases. And what I've discovered is that when taking this map of these alleged bases, we have no real proof that this map is even real. However, when you place it directly over top of this map, which comes directly from Mr. Polides and shows where these localized clusters of disappearances that have occurred in these different national parks, you find something very scary, in my opinion, which you're seeing here as I fade this map of these purported underground bases in and out, overlaid on top of this map by Mr. Polides of these disappearances. We see that these localized clusters match up almost perfectly with the large majority of these bases on this map. I mean, just look at this. I'll let it play for a couple seconds. And, all speculation aside, tell me that isn't freaky. Call me crazy, but I definitely think there's something to this, and that these underground bases may be playing a much larger role in these strange happenings and disappearances than we previously could have ever thought. So there really is something eerie going on, and whether this super swarm with these earthquakes has anything to do with what we were just talking about, I don't know. It could be all natural. I can attest, just from the past videos that I've done, there's a lot of stuff that's happened in Yellowstone that cannot be explained. Lights, UFOs, strange sounds. Have you guys heard of something called the Yellowstone Lake music? Well, it continues to be a mystery after almost a century of reports of this really enigmatic sound that thousands of people have reported hearing above Yellowstone Lake. with it happening many instances on clear days and in early mornings. And it's been described as a remarkable celestial sound of an unknown